Is Japanese or Korean is more suitable for the Chinese to learn? The formation of Japanese and Korean languages has been strongly influenced by Chinese. To a certain extent, the process of Korean and Japanese language formation is from the use of the transcription of Chinese characters. It is the transformation of Chinese with the characteristics of the nation, and finally the pronunciation and the shape of the characters are consistent, the so-called the process of consistent words. Due to the natural connection between Chinese, Japanese and Korean, Chinese people have unparalleled advantages in learning the languages of these two countries. For example, Japanese was announced by the United Nations as the fifth most difficult language to learn in the world. If you write kanji in Japanese, even a Chinese without any knowledge of Japanese can roughly grasp the meaning of the text. For example, the website directory of the Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Science and Technology of Japan, the Chinese seem to have no obstacles. The similarity between Japanese, Korean languages and Chinese. To learn a language, of course, the more similar the language to the mother tongue, the easier it is to learn. First, let's examine the writing part of Japanese and Korean language to Chinese language, because there are a large number of Chinese characters in Japanese, and what is very valuable is that the meanings of Japanese-Chinese characters are roughly the same as Chinese characters. Chinese people can recognize the meaning at a glance. This is very conducive to Chinese learning. To put it bluntly, Chinese people open it. Japanese vocabulary book, more than half of the vocabulary does not have to memorize the writing and meaning, it is really very convenient. In contrast to Korean, first of all, we need to make it clear that Korean is a kind of phonetic characters, and more vividly. It is a kind of pinyin written in a form similar to Chinese square characters. The learning of Korean is very important to the mastery of spelling rules. It is impossible to understand the meaning of vocabulary through the appearance of the font. The pronunciation differences. Japanese pronunciation is based on the kana syllables. Further differentiation and evolution can be divided into vowels, unvoiced sounds, dialed sounds, accelerating sounds, O sounds, special kana sounds, etc. If you take 45 common unvoiced sounds plus 33 common O sounds, plus 20 voiced sounds and 5 semi-voiced sounds, there are 103 syllables for basic Japanese pronunciation, and this does not include special sounds, so Japanese pronunciation needs to be memorized. Many, but it's much better to remember the pronunciation rules. Let's look at Korean. As mentioned above, Korean is a phonetic script composed of 21 vowels and 19 consonants. From this point of view, Korean seems to be easier to learn than Japanese in pronunciation. But this is just a representation. In actual use, a lot of phonetic changes occur when Korean words are spelled in a sentence, and this phonetic change is not only limited to the pronunciation. It is also reflected in the Korean writing. Usually due to some reasons the writing of words produced by pronunciation changes greatly, and it is difficult for beginners to grasp and recognize. Grammar structure for Korean and Japanese languages. Although Japanese and Korean languages have borrowed and used Chinese a lot, they are only formal and superficial. The grammatical structure behind Chinese and the core of Chinese thinking are not adopted. Perhaps this is also why Japan and South Korea will not be assimilated in history. For the sake of it, Chinese is an isolated language. It relies on the order of words to express meaning, and the shape of the word itself does not change. Japanese and Korean languages are typical adhesive languages, that is, languages with different endings attached to the root to express semantic meaning. This is fundamentally different from Chinese. Korean language grammar is regulated. Korean has been described by many linguists as a very scientific language. This scientifically is reflected in his ideology and computer input. Korean grammar rules are very strict, and each meaning has a corresponding ending. And change rules, although this is very cumbersome, but it also determines the accuracy of Korean expression. This is why most people say that Japanese is easy to get started when learning Japanese and Korean languages. The more they learn, the more they cannot understand it. The Korean language is difficult to get started, but after passing the spelling level, A lot of memory of grammar is enough. There is still a lot of pressure to learn Japanese in terms of grammar and ideology. Japanese is quite easy at the beginning but difficult in the middle of the learning. Most people who study Japanese, including Japanese majors, already have experience in learning English. Regardless of the level, no matter how big the difference between English and Japanese is, this kind of foreign language learning experience is the most important. This is the first advantage you have unknowingly. In terms of phonetics, the 5 vowels of Japanese are so simple because of the basis of Chinese and English. Anyone can recite the kana syllables in one day. However, in the Japanese language proficiency test, listening has always been a weakness for Chinese students. Spoken Japanese can be compared to the real Japanese, and there are very few people. If the Japanese pronunciation is really so simple, how can this phenomenon be explained? The problem of Japanese speaking and listening is not just pronunciation, it is attached to the grammatical structure, and at the same time contains many Japanese cultural characteristics. So, if you don't have a deep understanding of grammar and culture, even if you can hear it, how about using pseudonyms?